Good evening, Twitch, and welcome to anyone who's going to watch us on YouTube. This is your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger, coming to you to talk about Week 8 of the NFL. Looking forward to Week 9, and I am joined by the one and only Mutant Gingy.
Mutant Gingy in the house. Here we go. 7-0. Lay it on me, donkey.
Dude, we have never seen this in our lifetime.
Oh.
Just let it sit in for a minute. Never seen this in our lifetime. I wasn't born in the 70s. I didn't get to see that awesome Steeler era, but I'm here for this one. I can't complain.
Let it sit. Let it sit. Take it in. And then the next man up. Next team. Next game. But yeah,
For
overall,
sure.
really, obviously you got to be pleased with the result. But, before we get into that, anything else that we're looking at on Week 8 that comes up on your radar?
The Titans with the ultimate big game letdown the next week, going out there and letting Cincinnati get that dub.
Call that the big
Good
oof.
job to Joe Burrow. That can help us in the future, but hopefully that's not signs of that Cincy team starting to pull up big wins. Cleveland-Vegas game, absolute wind bowl that the Raiders come out and win. I mean, I watched a field goal get started outside of the right upright and miss wide left, and I was like, whew, I'm glad I'm not playing in that football game.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. What do we got in the AFC? Colts pull out a big win last week, 20 points up on the Lions. Heading 5-2, looking at the Ravens this week. That's going to be a big one.
Detroit Lions out there. The Chiefs absolutely owning the New York amateur football team.
Class B football team, for sure.
I meant the Jets. I'm sorry. The Dolphins getting Tua his first win, even though honestly Tua did not play very well. But hey, he did enough to get a W, and well, you can't complain about that kind of stuff.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
And the one I would love to give a shout out to is your former San Diego, now Los Angeles Chargers, taking the throne of, hey, we know how to blow football games too. Don't give Atlanta all the love. We're pretty good at blowing big leads. Chargers, blowing that one to Denver out there is kind of crazy.
That's just unfortunate. That's a young football team at quarterback with Herbert there. You know what
He looks legit though.
What I really looked at last week, I was, the fall of the dynasty, what it appears to be with Cam Newton and the Patriots. Ooh.
Bro, right now it looks like maybe Brady was a little more to the Brady Belichick than Belichick. I mean, Belichick got himself a former MVP quarterback, and this year just looks terrible, while Brady goes down there to a pretty darn good coach in Bruce Arians, and wow, you just got sniped in front of me, and looks like a stud.
Yeah.
Oh, there's two up there. That's unfortunate.
I think they're in that middle hallway, donkey. But yeah, looking at good week last week. Wanted to look ahead now. Want to look at the Week 8 game versus the Steelers and the Ravens. Wow. I mean, great football game overall. Really entertaining to watch.
Which half do you want to talk about? The first half or the second half? Because one I liked and one I hated.
I want to talk about starting with the first play of the game. With big play Spillane.
Third down, Robert Spillane. Dude, what's not to like about him? I mean, I know we acquired another linebacker to help out there, and Avery Williamson, and he is going to help out because the depth is dead. We just lost Gilbert and everybody, but adding that's going to help. But Spillane, man, he's next man up to the tee, and is looking like a stud as the next man up for sure. That pick six is huge. Lamar Jackson can't make that throw. You have to read that there, and that's the thing with Lamar. I mean, he's great with his legs. He has a strong arm, but decision making's sus.
He made poor decisions that game. Not a good handle on the rock, and they paid for it. But Spillane, 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, I believe. That big pick. What a huge ass to have there in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, he came up big. He did get torched once or twice while for some reason we were having linebackers cover wide receivers. I know Tallman said afterwards, well, I can't just take them off the field. Yeah, bro, but when they're on the field, why the hell do they have to be covering a wide receiver? I mean, oi.
In a 3-4?
Vince
probably
Williams
right.
out there, Spillane out there, both trying to cover wide receivers, both looking like friggin' lost puppies. By the way, get owned, kid.
Man, I am not having a good game today on this one. Warm up, Mulligan.
I almost let our teammate die because I whiffed 6 shots, so don't feel bad. But yeah, I mean, the defense played all in all well against the pass, but 260 plus rushing yards, man. I mean, we were stopping the run early, and then Alu gets hurt, and it's like, oh boy, this isn't good. Clearly, the most important member of that defensive front is Alu. It was shown last game. When he went out, they just ran it right down the middle. I mean, props to Bugs for staying in it and making some big plays at the end, especially on the pass rush side, but Bugs was just getting blown up in the run game early.
Still in the middle there, Tuitt had a great game. I feel he had 2 sacks, 8 tackles.
Defensive Player of the Week.
Huge game for him. He was a monster in the middle. I mean, yeah, I know that 260 yards on the ground, that's pretty atypical for the Steelers too, but I mean, Baltimore's a fantastic rushing team. Let's hand it to them. That's where they excel.
True, but I don't care what you excel in. That's unacceptable on every standard.
But fortunately, we were able to shut down Lamar Jackson through the air.
Yep, that we did. I mean, he made a couple pretty plays. He had a couple chances to win it, but the young man's got to get a little better with the football. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
he was a little sloppy. Turnovers are what really made a difference in that game. Look at the first half, look at the second half. I mean, Steelers had one of the more costly turnovers in the first half, although I guess Baltimore cost themselves some points on that first fumble. But I don't know. I would love to give a shout-out to Isaiah Bugs for just that second half step-up he had. I mean, they were just dominating him in the first half. In the second half, that kid came out to play. I'm sure he got a chewing. I'm sure he got a mouthful in the locker room. But he came out and showed something to me.
When two juggernauts of the AFC North play like this, you know, it comes down to the small differences in execution and performance. And 2 big things that stuck out for me, Donkey. Obviously, Steelers +3 on the turnover margin. Huge win there. And in the penalties category, Steelers 3 for 30 yards, Ravens 9 for 110. That makes, when you're talking about 4-point football game, that makes a huge difference.
Oh, it's a fragment, not a sticky. Oh, got him anyway. Let's go. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. But let's talk about first half offense, or lack thereof.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers lack thereof altogether. I mean, putting 28 points on the board with 221 total yards, you know something happened on defense.
Yeah. I mean, did our offense have like 60 total yards or something ridiculous in the first half? Just nothing going anywhere. I mean, James Conner was running the ball pretty well, but it seemed like Ben was airmail. It seemed like Fiechner had no idea what he was doing out there calling plays. He was just a lost puppy the whole day. I mean, the only time the offense went well is when Ben decided to make up his own plays in the second half. And that goes back to I just question his ability as a coordinator. I mean, let's be honest, the scripted play series failure thing is a failure on him.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, usually looks good when he's in that 2-minute offense, when he's, you know, dictating pace, when he's moving him in the line, he looks good typically in that situation most times. I don't know what's going on there. I'm just not sure. What I'm looking at overall, I called last week that I was looking for a big game from James Conner. And looking at the line for 15 for 47 overall, I know we were playing from behind. You know, we were playing from behind in the first half, down 17 to 7 at that second quarter mark there. But I don't know. I would have liked to see more there.
Yeah, me too, but I mean, you can't blame him. The offensive line was getting no push, playing from behind, and honestly, he ran pretty well in the first half, and then we just all but abandoned the rushing game in the second half. Like, there was, maybe 4 or 5 runs, and one was the end of the game when we tried to get 1 yard instead of letting Ben throw for it. But I don't know. It's just, I've been overly disappointed by this offensive line's ability to get push, and against good teams, we aren't getting any push. And I'm looking at that right side. I mean, DeCastro's not moving anybody. Pouncey's not moving anybody. Feeler's not moving anybody. When we're not getting pushed from the middle, it looks bad. Like, the only plays that look good is when Connor's able to get outside and get a block from either a pulling guard or Vance McDonald. The running game's just weak right now. And it needs to be stronger because I don't mind Bend winning us football games, but we know how that can end in the playoffs.
Again, though, you have, for his credit, you have to look at the line and go 21 for 32 for 182 with 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. That's the key. That's the difference between, you know, the winning and losing of that football game.
It is, but let's look at that first half offense. That first half offense, Ben's just off on throws. He throws a ball behind Egram, that's a first down. He throws a ball behind Washington, I believe that would have been a first down. It's just, sure, Ben led us to the win, but it felt more to me like Baltimore gave that game away than we wanted. Like, for once, I can say I felt Mike Tomlin outcoached Harbaugh. Like, why does Harbaugh not kick the field goal on that first drive in the fourth quarter, or that late drive, the first of their 2 late drives in the fourth quarter? Harbaugh kicks that field goal there, they win it with a field goal.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20.
I mean, you definitely kick that. You know you're getting another possession. You kick that field goal and make it a 1-point game. But Harbaugh got out-coached by Mike Tomlin for once, and it was nice to see. I mean, I've definitely seen it go the other way quite a few times, but to see us have the out-coaching was nice, and I really love to see it. I hope it continues. I hope Tomlin keeps this going because, man, the coaching job he's doing this year, let's give that dude some credit. This team is ready. This team is going. This team is showing up.
I agree, and they're playing with grit. I still like all the hustle plays, the big effort plays, getting first downs. And, you know, you mentioned it, and I think I heard this somewhere this week. The Steelers are not a pretty football team by any stretch of the imagination. They're not going to make a ton of highlight reels. You're not looking at stats and awards and stuff. But you're still looking at 7-0, man. At the end of the day,
can't be perfection.
They're coming out with dubs.
They are. I mean, that was a hard-fought game. That's a game you love to win. But there's a lot of room for things. I mean, I don't think either team should feel, oh, we're definitely the better team yet. I mean, who knows? We get to play them again on Turkey Day, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah. Big one. Turkey Day at Heinz. Woot woot.
I mean, but I loved the game. I loved the result. There was a lot I didn't love about it, I'm going to be honest. I mean, that first half offense was terrible. The fact that Ben has to take over play calling because our offensive coordinator's inept, terrible. I mean, special teams looked okay. I mean, Barry had an almost shank of a punt. Oh, this guy's really laggy. He just came out of nowhere. But I'm going to be honest, watching a punt be able to go over 50 yards and a punt be able to be down inside the 10-yard line, I will take Jordan Berry every day of the week over the version of Dustin Colquitt the Steelers had.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. It looked good in that department. Overall, I still don't think the Steelers have really hit their peak ball. Maybe once in the first half of the Titans game, we saw what the Steelers are really capable of when they put it together. But the fact that they're muddling through, making plays when they need to, still getting dubs makes me very encouraged for the resiliency overall of the football team. You're right, we have not seen great, flawless play from this team very often, but they do enough.
Correct. Oh, what a nade by that kid. I mean, there's a reason we're the last undefeated team. There's no doubt about it. I mean, look at this team. Look at all these players, their strength. I mean, we just cut our biggest acquisition in the offseason in Wisniewski because Dotson stepped up so huge that we don't even need that guy anymore. I mean, that to me says something. How many other teams have their probably highest profile add-in get cut halfway through? And then some random throw-in where people are like, well, I'd prefer having Dirty Red over Robert Spillane. Like, you still want to stay with that statement, everybody who loves Dirty Red? I'm just asking. I mean, Spillane's done more in 2 games than Dirty Red did in, I don't know, 100 years? I mean, is that how long he was on our special team / backup linebacker role?
Oh, donkey, you're doing him dirty.
I know, dude. He did himself dirty. I mean, he's the one who liked the name. Come on now. I'm saying.
Oh my, that's funny.
There's some stuff to go out there. That's just, ugh. And then we got the Cowboys this week.
Looking ahead at
looking
week
for?
9. How about them boys? All right. It smells like a trap. Trap City, donkey.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
I don't know. Dallas announcing starting quarterback this week.
Garrett Gilbert. Straight out of the
It's
AAF.
not a DiNucci, but it's a Gilbert.
Dude, that's a good thing for Cowboys fans. As a person who's watched Ben DiNucci when he played at Pitt, every time that dude threw an out route, you were fearing it was going to be a pick six because he has a jello arm. I mean, I watched Gilbert play in the AAF. At least the dude can make the throws. He doesn't make the smart decision, but he can make some throws. Gives him a little more leeway.
He's got
my,
weapons.
their skill set is ridiculous there, dude. What, CeeDee Lamb's their number 3 receiver, and that dude is just straight up balling.
Yeah, Mari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, there's room. There's room to do well there.
Oh my gosh, this Invisi dude with the scatter shot is just wrecking my world. I'm like having my worst day of Halo in a long time because this kid is just every corner I turn there's an Invisi scatter shot or a dude with a rocket launcher. I feel like the poor Cleveland Browns when they played the Steelers.
It's a tough Halo day right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. We got to get a warm up.
But Gingy,
going.
before we get too far into the Dallas talk, I gotta talk about something.
Huh?
Late hit that changes the momentum of the game in the first half for the Baltimore game.
Yeah.
I mean,
what did I tell you how I feel
Lamar
about that?
Jackson's in the field of play, gets hit, they're going to throw a flag. Okay, maybe that's believable if he was trying to go out of bounds. But
Still
two
not
drives
believable.
later,
Fuck that.
he shows exactly what he was trying to do. He tries to stop on the sideline so the linebackers stop playing. He walks by him and makes him look silly. But guess what? The 2 drives later, Spillane runs past him. Thank God Lamar still fell out of bounds because Spillane's afraid to touch him because he knows he's going to get flagged. Lamar tries to stay in the field of play. I mean, why can't we just say, hey, if you're playing between the white lines, your ass is going to get hit. This is football, right? Like, I was a soccer player. You were a soccer player. This isn't soccer. You're allowed to touch each other.
Donkey. All right. Well, if you're a defensive coordinator, if you're Keith Butler, what do you tell these people? What do you
Take
tell
his
them?
block off, take the 15 yards, and put him out of the game.
Holy smokes! I don't know if you tell them that.
Bounty gate, baby. I am all aboard the Greg Williams style of football. Break them. This is a game to break another man's will. You know what? You want a pretty foot on the sideline? You want to hold on to that football, Mr. Quarterback? You're going to eat it, and you are going to eat it hard. That's what I tell my defenders. And I say this. I'm like, hey, I got a decent salary, bro. I'll pay your fines.
Because you're gonna get them. You're gonna get the fines, especially when you're hitting on.
Dude, who cares?
You know, pretty
who cares
boy
about
Lamar.
NFL fines? We got fined because we celebrated without mask on after the victory, dude. They're gonna fine you for anything in modern day NFL. Take a fine for winning a football game. Let's be honest. Let's just take the fines for winning the games, dude.
Seriously.
I mean, how much was it? Like 350K we got fined for celebrating without masks after the win? Was that the number?
Yeah, I mean 100K for Tomlin and 250,000 for the team.
Yeah, dude, because that's a thing. You know, y'all are hitting each other, hugging each other in a locker room with each other, but if you celebrate on the field without a mask, we're going to take your dollar bills. Because the NFL, a.k.a. the No Fun League, is showing itself to be exactly that once again.
I don't know what their commitments are in regards to that, but I mean 350,000 seems that's a fair chunk of change. But fortunately, you know, it's not drafts. I hope the Steelers can, you know, cover it and move on.
Look what happened to Vegas.
I
One more
know.
violation, and we're at the draft picks.
That's what I'm referring to. I'm
But
glad
anyway,
it's not
let's
that.
get where is this guy that he's still shooting me? Okay. I am playing absolutely fantastic. This is literally the worst game of Halo I've played in 2 months. I'm glad this is the one we're broadcasting. Oh, anyway, back to the Cowboys. Yeah, good skill players out there. I mean, their offensive line's beat up, right? They have 2 or 3 starters on the IR for the year, so that's not a good sign when you go against the Steelers.
You're gonna have a tough time versus the pass rush. I mean, looking at so far this year, what is it? 2 at 6, Bud 6, TJ 6.5. Something like
Yeah,
that. They're
those
spreading
boys
the
are-
love,
those
and they have a
boys
lot of
are
love to
wrecking.
give.
Is that kid invisible? Again, I died to the Invisi kid camped in the corner. I love it. I am having a fantastic day. But, yeah, let's not overlook the Dallas team. I mean, yeah, they're playing bad football. Yeah, their skill players aren't showing up. But look at that team as a whole. I mean, their offensive line's been a little weak right now, and that's hurting Zeke. His numbers are way down because they aren't getting any push whatsoever. But you still have Zeke Elliott out there, breakout guy. You still have Amari Cooper on the outside, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. Garrett Gilbert does have a pretty big arm. He can make some throws. I hope we just do the same thing we do to him that we do to every young starting quarterback. Put him in bad situations, make him make bad decisions, because our defense is primed to get after the quarterback and primed to make turnovers.
I'm fairly certain that what you just called is exactly what's going to happen. My prediction is 31-17 Steelers.
Boys. I think the Steelers get to 42. I think it's like 42-24. I feel the offense really shows up. I do feel there's a big turnover caused by Aldon Smith, though. He is playing really well since getting back from being, domestic terrorist, beating people, like, you name it, the dude did it in his past, but he's back and playing some good football right now, so
Yeah.
I guess you got to give him that. And I mean, but when you look at that Dallas defense, there's nothing that sticks out. Like, outside of Aldon Smith, I mean, they have a good set of middle linebackers there in Lee and Vander Esch. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Vander Esch. Yeah.
But, I mean, Jalen Smith looks a step slow this year. I don't know if he's got that dollar bills way down my pocket syndrome, but dude gets a contract and now plays like he should be a backup. I don't. That's just. It is what it is. They just can't.
Not
seem
afraid
to
of
stop
Dallas.
anyone.
Not afraid of Dallas. I think that you're right that pass rush is going to put that fella in a bad spot pretty regularly, and that's gonna be all she wrote there. You're gonna win the battlefield position, sniper at sniper, and yeah, that's all she wrote, Donkey. I think we're looking at an 8-0.
I hope
Let's
so,
hope.
dude. That'd be nuts. It would be fun to be there, and it would help build the division lead a little. Ooh, that was a good double team right there. I tell you what, that was some good shit on that
Invisi.
side. But yeah, I think the Cowboys should be, like I said, I feel the 42-24. I feel like the offense really gets the clicking going this time. And I'll say it's about darn time that it happens, because that skill has been there for like 3 years. And it just never seems to fully click. And I don't know what the problem is, but I would love it to hit syndrome or all cylinders right now and just keep going. Just don't stop. I mean, why does it have to stop? Why can't it just keep going and going and going? And then we get that one and only bye into the playoffs. That'd be kind of a cool thing to do. Make those Chiefs play on the first weekend.
Let's do it.
That would be my goal, and it starts every week. Because let's be honest, I'm not sure that Kansas City team's gonna lose another football game. I don't know if you watch them, but dude, Patty Mahomes is
They're gonna have to do it to themselves. 'Cause I don't think if they're running on full that they're gonna have too much trouble.
No, not at all. But got any shout outs you're looking for this week?
Donkey, shout out to Robert Spillane, man. You know, everybody had we had Devin Bush go down. We're looking at some real bad times. People are having shades of Shazier in their head and stuff, man. And this guy, you know, been on practice squad for quite a while, been around the block, comes in and plays a role, Donkey. Plays a role. That is very, very important on that Steelers football team, on that 3-4 defense, that middle inside. It's a very important role, and I'm almost shocked that we're talking about him in this way. But shout out to that boy, holding it down, doing his job.
Yeah, he definitely is, and oh my gosh, hold on. I got to give my shout out to the guy who I thought the two guys. There are two guys. One talked about earlier, Isaiah Buggs. Absolutely dominated in the first half. Must have got a chewing out. Came back in the second half and played great football. To me, that was such an important thing. And him being able to pressure a little bit up the middle definitely changed the way that game was going. And then the other shout out I want to give is another guy who made a recovery through the game. And this was Chase Claypool. Absolutely huge fumble at the beginning. Huge momentum switching fumble. Stays in it, keeps focused, comes and makes the big touchdown grab at the end of the game. Which I told you I thought one of the keys was Claypool making a couple big plays. And, he did make a couple big plays, just unfortunately one of them was for the wrong team. But I loved to see the comeback in these guys. That to me is the biggest thing, because there are a lot of teams you see when something bad happens, they fall apart. I'm looking at you, Cleveland. I'm looking at you, Los Angeles Chargers. You know, these teams that just, when things don't go their way, they can't get out of the bad groove. And I love every week, it seems like some Steeler is coming and just making those plays that get them out of the bad groove. And it's different players every week, and I just love to see it. I think that's a key to this team, and I think that's what separates this team from the even more talented Killer Bees, because I'm not sure the talent level's on par with the Killer Bees, but I'll tell you what, the comeback's better.
Yo, speaking of Killer Bees and comebacks.
I'm knocking Antonio Brown. Personally, I know everyone hates this move, but I love that move for the Buccaneers. What you have to lose, if he's a shitty person, after 2 weeks, you cut him. If he works out, you just got a game-changing wide receiver for free.
It's going to be interesting.
The other Killer Bee who tried to make a comeback was Le'Veon Bell down there in Kansas City. He looked pretty good catching the football, but running the ball, I think he was like 6 carries for 8 yards. Oof! Oof! And I'm not going to lie, Bell looks like he lost a little bit of a step. I mean, I still think he could be a good player in that system. I mean, LaShawn McCoy, who clearly lost a couple steps, was a good player in that system last year. So it could work out for him. But yeah, you're right. The Killer Bees are making comebacks everywhere but here. I mean, who's next? Where's Martavis Bryant going, man? Who needs a wide receiver?
Yeah, he's not going anywhere, donkey.
Why? Isn't he allowed to smoke the pot now? I mean, if he's allowed to smoke the pot, I think he could be pretty useful for someone.
But, yeah.
That dude's one shot
Really?
down on the front.
Good time. Good call
job.
out. Good time to be a Steeler fan.
Here we go. As Jordy would say, my little boy who's just starting to chant and wave his flow. Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! He doesn't know how to say the Steelers part yet, but man, is he having a good time watching all these W's.
Good. Raise him right, donkey. Raise him right.
That's right. And until next time, this is your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger, and we're going to be signing off. Oh, what a shot!
Dang. Catch you later, folks. Mutant Gingy, Xbox Live.
What, no, here we go? I'm disappointed.
Here
in you.
we go, baby. We're rolling for 8-0. Come on, donkey. You show me some love, man. You know it's going. Here we go. Wave them if you got them, folks.